Hello besties. It has been a while and I feel like I only do these life update videos when something bad happens to me, like when I got laid off or when I got laid off the other time. So I thought I would do one that's life updates but happier things, some reselling related, some not, just to kind of give you an update on where I've been in case you only follow me here on YouTube or in case you just want to hear all the updates in one spot. So starting off, I did get a job. I was unemployed from February 6th to June 12th. And that last month of that was like waiting on my background check to go through and, just having some time to chill before starting my job, which was so nice. And honestly, it gave me a taste of what it's like to be retired because I didn't have interviews. So I would wake up and my whole day was just open to do whatever I wanted, which was so nice. And man, I really want to be retired. I'm only 26, so I'm pretty far away from that, but I invest a lot. So I will hopefully not be waiting until I'm 65. But anyways, so I've been at that job now for almost 3 months. It'll be 3 months on Tuesday. So it's still very overwhelming. I feel like no one really talks about how tiring it is to start a new job and you just barely know anything. Like, this is the same job title that I had before. This is another product owner role. So I still work in tech. I work with developers and I figure out what they're going to develop next and I write down everything so that they have it ready to go. That is my very simple explanation for people who are not in the tech world of what I do. But anyways, this is a new industry for me, and obviously I don't know any of these people. I don't know how this company runs things. So I'm like having days at work where I'm like, I feel like I'm using 100% of my brain and I get done and I'm just like so tired. And so it is getting better, but there are still times where I'm just like, oh man, they asked me to do something. They're like, will you go ask Ryan about this? And I'm like, Ryan who? And they're like, Ryan Smith. And I write that down. I'm like, okay, what am I asking him? And so just anything takes so long, but I am getting there. It'll get better. So, and I have a pension now, which is very exciting because I've never had one before, and I probably need to do some research on how this works. If I don't retire at this company, what happens with the pension? But I don't actually get the pension until I've been there a year, so I still have 9 months to go. Anyway, so that's update number 1. In the reselling world, very exciting news. I am speaking at PoshFest this year about social media. And I think past years, I've never been to PoshFest before. I've looked at the speakers in past years of the people who talked, and I was like, I could do that. They're talking about social media. Sure, maybe they have a few more thousand followers than me, but I was like, I have a lot of thoughts on this. I'm very strategic with my social media, and I've definitely worked to grow it in different ways, especially over the past year. So I was like, I can do this. And to apply, there's a Google form you fill out, and then they make you film a video. I'll put my PoshFest application video at the end of this. I think it's gonna be really funny to look back on. But obviously they want to see, if you're applying to be a speaker, can you speak clearly without a lot of filler words? I do use a lot. And I think I realize it in these times when I film myself talking to the camera. But anyways, I'm gonna try not to do that on stage. So it's me and another woman, and we're gonna talk about social media. This is honestly pretty chill. I don't have to make a presentation. I'm not memorizing a whole long speech about stuff. But I am very excited to, share my thoughts about it. And I, of course, will be filming at PoshFest, so stay tuned for that video. So yeah, that is very exciting. And I think in the past, I've had imposter syndrome about oh no, I don't know enough, or there's people with way more followers than me who could speak way better about this. But at the same time, I feel like I have very good engagement rate on Instagram, especially. My reels, they're getting a good amount of views compared to other people with a similar number of followers, which, you know, I'm always like looking at other people and analyzing what they're doing and like what videos are performing well for other people and like what their strategies are, just so that I can try different things or be like, oh, clearly that's not a good strategy sometimes. Sometimes you learn that from people. But TikTok especially has been taking off. So moving into, I'm gonna call this like TikTok content creation, influencing in general. TikTok has been taking off once again. I feel like I went through a period where like I was posting every day, sometimes multiple times a day usually, and just like not really seeing a huge impact. But this past week I had like 2 videos go like pretty viral, get some good views. Taking a step back, first I need to do a life update. I have a boyfriend now. If you've been following me for a while, you're probably like, oh my God, Amber, you're so happy for me. Anyway, so let me just like give you a little rundown real quick. We met on Hinge and we had a couple messages and then I didn't respond. And then maybe like a day later, he messaged again. He's like, what if we just skip all the small talk and like go out to dinner? He's like, I don't really want to cook this weekend. This is like Memorial Day weekend. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, what should we do? And we went to bingo for our first date, which was like good and bad. I feel like it probably wasn't the best place to like have a good conversation. We should have maybe got there earlier to like talk a bit beforehand. But it was really cute because we each had our own bingo cards and like he had won a game and then we were like playing another game and he was getting close to winning again and he like switched our cards so that like I could call bingo and go up there, which was really nice. Anyways, so then we officially started dating in July after like lots of dates. I wonder if he's gonna watch this, and that feels a little embarrassing to me, but the thing is, he is like not really a social media guy. Like the only social media app he has on his phone is Snapchat, and he'll log on to Facebook or Instagram like from a web browser. So he like does have the accounts. TikTok, he doesn't have an account. He will also just like log on and watch as like an anonymous user. You can do that. And he told me that I had put on my Hinge profile that I had like been on TV for a TikTok, and he asked about it. And he's like, I did go watch that interview and then I found your TikTok and I watched a bunch of them. He admitted this like after we were officially dating, I think. And I was like, that's kind of embarrassing to me. But at the same time, it was very validating that he watched all my videos and he still liked me and wanted to date me, and that didn't scare him away. So I'm very happy to have him. But anyways, one of my TikToks that went viral recently, there's this whole soft launch versus hard launch thing on social media where when someone gets into a relationship, a hard launch will be posting a photo of like, here's me and my boyfriend. Whereas a soft launch is like, oh, here's me at a restaurant and you can see this table and you see like a man's arm in the corner, but you don't tag him, you don't know who it is. And you know, things like that. Or like, oh, here's a photo of my shoes on the ground from above and there's a man's shoes in it too. And so I just thought this was funny. And so we have a soft launch video and I just pan to him and he has his face like in his shirt like this.
I'll just be looking ahead.
So you can't see him. Anyways, it has like 1.9 million views right now. And I was telling him about it because he doesn't have a TikTok account. He was just like, oh, how are our numbers looking? And we were talking about the comments, and at first all the comments were like, ha ha ha, this is so funny. Like, I can't wait to do this. And then now I feel like it's gotten to like the people who aren't really into the video, and the comments are like, oh my God, this is so stupid. Or like, oh my God, he's cheating on you if he doesn't want his face seen. He's definitely not. He doesn't have time for that. But I think it's really funny. Anyways, so TikTok has been going well this past week. It is very up and down there. But I did want to say that they started TikTok Shop where small businesses can sell stuff. But on the flip side of that, content creators can promote items and earn commission. And it was Tired Mama's Closet who pointed this out to me. She was like, hey, have you like looked into this? And I was like, no, I haven't. And like within 10 minutes I had signed up. You need 5,000 followers and maybe something else. But they have all these coupons on TikTok Shop. So I bought a sweatshirt for like, it was like $2 after the coupon. I had to pay a little bit in taxes. And then you make videos about the product, you can link it, and people buy directly on TikTok, and then you earn commissions. On that sweatshirt, it started out, I was earning like $8.50 per sale. And I made 2 or 3 videos with it, and I sold 10 of them. So like I made $80 off of this $2 investment. And I was like, this is maybe easier than reselling. So I'm dabbling in that right now. I bought a Taylor Swift sweatshirt. It hasn't arrived yet. I made a video saying I ordered it, and someone bought it off of that video, just me saying I ordered it. And I'm making like $12.75 on that, so a bit higher. So I'm like, okay, you know, this could work out where you buy something, you sell enough of it to cover the cost and then some. So I'm dabbling in that. On a similar note, I signed up for LikeToKnowIt, where people link their outfits. And this was like kind of like, oh, should I do it? Should I not? Just because so much of my community is like people who want to thrift and get good deals. But then I was thinking about it and I was like, how many of these people actually thrift 100% of their wardrobe? Like even myself, like there's the occasion where I'm like, oh, I need this very exact thing. I'm not going to be able to thrift this before I need to leave for my trip or this wedding or whatever. And I do buy new clothes occasionally. So I signed up for LikeToKnowIt, and looking at the commissions on there is super interesting. And again, looking at how other influencers are posting stuff, and it just blows my mind. Like Abercrombie and Fitch, someone can post something and get a 10% commission on sales if you click that link and buy the item. And I look at these influencers with like hundreds of thousands of followers, you know, they post a cute dress. I'm like, if you sell 10 of those, you make your money back. You're probably selling more than 10 though. So there's a lot of money to be made there. I have not made any sales there yet. I think my community is definitely very thrift focused, but you can also link items to eBay and Poshmark. eBay is like 7% and Poshmark is like 3.5%, so not as high. But I was like, okay, this is good to know. For the things that I do buy new, obviously I'll link those. And then even when I thrift stuff, if I'm like, oh, this is really cute, people are asking where it's from, I can link it there. So dabbling in that. Don't feel bad if you don't buy from it, but I don't know. I feel like that's just a very easy way to support creators as opposed to these big businesses. And similar with Amazon affiliates, where people link items and then they get a commission. And I talked to an Amazon seller recently, and I asked him about this. I was like, whose pocket does that come out of? Like, am I taking money from the seller or Amazon when I do that? And he goes, oh, it's Amazon who's like losing out on that money. He goes, it comes out of their marketing budget. And he was telling me like, oh, as a seller, like when someone buys something, I see all the deductions. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. So by purchasing your Amazon items through someone else's link, you are taking money from Jeff Bezos. So if you hate capitalism, I don't know where I'm going here. But yeah, and the thing is, if you click someone's Amazon link and buy anything else within 24 hours, like they still make a portion of that purchase, which is just an easy way to support, you know, small creators, I feel like. Along with the influencing updates, I've done some like either brand partnerships or user generated content recently, where I'll create a video for a brand and send it to them and then they pay me. And that's been really good. And I feel like the amount of money I can make doing that is more than I could do in the same amount of time reselling clothing. But the thing is, those aren't as common. So I think someday I would like to get to that point, but for now, obviously I'm doing both. And I don't know if I would ever actually fully quit reselling. Right now, the reselling money is very nice. And I do depend on that a lot because I'm trying to max out my 401k at work. And because I was laid off, I'm essentially trying to max out my 401k in 7 or 8 months total. And that's like 20 grand to save in that amount of time. So my paychecks are not huge, even though the company pays well. It's just that I'm investing so much money and so I never see it. So the reselling money definitely is helping me pay my bills. Keeping reselling for a while. I don't know if I could ever quit that, just because I really like the thrill of the hunt, but I also don't know how big I can grow it. So this past weekend, I went to Camp FI, which is Camp Financial Independence for people who are interested in retiring before the age of 65. And this was my 3rd year going. I've never made a video on this, but maybe I should at some point. I've made some like reels and TikToks about it. But because this was my 3rd year going, I had seen people in the past and they would ask me like, oh, are you still doing like the reselling stuff? And so that was nice that they like asked about it. But someone asked, she's like, oh, is the business growing? Like, is it growing each year? And I was like, no, it's not. I think, I don't know, Facebook Marketplace was so good in 2021. Like, it was just on fire and I did so much there. And it's like dead now. If you feel the same way, leave a comment, because I used to sell, I would like go to sleep, I'd wake up, I'd have like 5 to 7 Facebook sales just overnight. And now I will go like a full weekend and sell like a $10 shirt and that's it. So anyways, that's caused me to like branch out, and I do focus more on eBay and Mercari now, but it still doesn't add up to what I was doing before. But I think in terms of reselling, I've kind of maxed out what I can do as like an individual person in my area. I'm basically in that like $30,000 to $40,000 range. And in terms of total sales, and that number is not a perfect estimate because of the way my spreadsheet is. Anyways, I just hope my accountant does everything right. Anyways, so I kind of feel like in terms of what I can do as an individual person, it's hard for me to grow at this point, just because I am also working full-time and trying to do the influencing content creation stuff as well, and also have a social life. So I told her, I was like, you know, it's not growing, but I was like, I do think I have a better work-life balance now, because when I went to this Camp FI, it would have been 2 years ago. It was Labor Day weekend, like Facebook was on fire, you know, and I was like stressed because the Wi-Fi was so bad and I like couldn't post stuff to sell. Whereas this past weekend, like I just went 4 days without listing stuff because I was like, oh, you know what? I'm here. Like, it's fine if I don't list stuff. And I was still making sales on Poshmark and Mercari, not on Facebook. So I do think I just like have a better balance with it all, where I'm not stressed about it. I am pretty good at usually listing every day though, but yeah, it's not growing. But I am smarter with the tax deductions and, you know, sourcing items that are lower cost. So I've definitely learned a lot. So in 2021, I set this big goal. I was like, I'm gonna do 40,000 in sales. And I hit that goal with like a couple days to spare. Like it was down to the wire. This past year, I did like maybe 35,000. And this year, like I'm only at 20,000 so far, and we have like 3.5 months left. So we'll see how that goes. Usually like fall, winter is much better for me, but unless I take off time to travel. So, but anyways, going back to the content creation stuff, I definitely feel like I've been neglecting YouTube. I've been going through this period recently where like creatively, I'm just like kind of burnt out in terms of like, now that I'm working full-time again and I'm not just like full-time like reselling and creating content, it is very hard for me to like think of something to post every day on Instagram. TikTok is a bit better because I feel like that's just broader and I don't care as much about making like the perfect piece of content. Like I post something knowing like it could take off or it could totally flop. And I've been okay with it totally flopping. But on Instagram, I think I just care so much more because I want it to be all cute and aesthetic together. So yeah, very creatively burned out. And that goes for YouTube too. I'm like, how many hauls can I really post? And I did some thrifting in Minnesota, but I haven't had a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, I can like make a greater than 10-minute YouTube video on this. If you follow me on Instagram and TikTok, I will do like really quick thrift hauls where I'm like this, and I just like tell you the brand and that's it. So I don't know what to post here at this time. I'm working on it. I'll post this video and you can listen to this while you do your reselling work maybe. But thanks for hanging out. Also at Camp Fi, it was funny, there was this one guy, he had been there the past year, maybe the past 2 years, and he was like, we were talking about me being on the Jennifer Hudson show, and he's like, oh, and didn't your mom have to take another flight? He's like, I think I saw that on YouTube. I was like, you do watch my videos. I was like, that's so nice, because he's definitely not my like target market. I don't know if he's a huge thrifter, but I was like, oh, that's really nice that he actually has been watching and knows the updates. Ooh, I do have a lot of travel coming up. I have 2 friends from college who are from Missouri. They're both getting married within this next year. So I have like a bachelorette party and a wedding later this year. So I'm hoping to do some thrifting in the St. Louis area while I'm there. So maybe I'll make a video about that. I really want to hit up the St. Louis Goodwill outlet. Gotta check it out, of course. So that is the update. We'll see how everything goes. So thanks for watching this. If you like this life update video, leave a comment if you did happen to actually watch till the end, just so I can feel how you're feeling, you know, if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Anyways, thanks for watching. Love you. Bye. Hi, my name is Amber Smith, and I am Amber Waves of Brain on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. Social media has really changed the game for my Poshmark closet. I now will post TikToks of hauls, and I'll get people commenting of, oh, I want to buy this. I don't see it in your Poshmark closet yet. And I say, you know, I'm listing it today. It'll be there. And that has really helped me. I work in the tech industry full time, and I've been laid off twice within a year. And my Instagram community that I've built has been so supportive. I had sales both times I got laid off, and they were a huge success. This most recent time, I did a bundle sale on Poshmark, because Poshmark is really what I think just the best platform to do bundle sales. It makes it so easy for the buyers and as a seller. And I had my first $1,000 sales day ever in the 4 years that I've been selling. So that felt like a huge milestone that I finally hit. And it was so nice because the people buying felt like they actually knew me. I'll get people in my DMs saying, I feel like you're my best friend. And I'm like, I don't even know you. And so my key to Instagram has been being really transparent and also setting myself apart from other resellers by sharing more about my life than just reselling and thrifting content. What has really set me apart is my dating content. I started casually posting like, oh, I have a date tonight, hope it goes well. And I would come home and check my DMs, and people would be like, oh my gosh, are you still alive? Like, tell us how it went. And, you know, it was so crazy to me that these people cared so much about my life. And then that has really grown from there. I had a couple viral TikToks in the past year, and I ended up on national television. I was flown out to be on the Jennifer Hudson show. And you can find this interview on YouTube. They flew me out. She paid me back all the money I spent on dates in the past year. It was so funny. I still don't have a boyfriend. Maybe I'll find one at PoshFest. And that is why I think that I would be the best person to talk about social media at PoshFest.